Hello, everybody. Really not feeling too good today, as you can hear, but I am going to be trying to get through this category. I only have a few more videos to go before the Oscars, and this is one of the trickiest categories of the night. This is Best Visual Effects. It's really tricky this year because there is no Best Picture nominee correlation. Most of the awards went to Black Panther. Most of the guilds went to Black Panther, and that's not nominated for this category. So it's really tricky, but here's the thing. This Oscar year is so crazy that I feel I have to make a no guts, no glory prediction somewhere, and this is mine. Best visual effects is going to be my no guts, no glory. What I mean by that is the choice that I'm going to make is not really the safest choice. I'm going to go a little bit out there. But I feel surprisingly confident in my decision this year, and I feel like it's going to pay off. But before we get to that, let's look at the 5 nominees. Fifth most likely to win is Christopher Robin. So, I'm probably going to be going through this pretty quickly, because as I said earlier, not feeling well, and I don't really know how much I have to say about this. Christopher Robin feels like an easy 5. I feel for many people it was their 10 in predictions. People didn't think this was going to get nominated, but it did. It was a surprise nomination. I don't know how many people have even seen the film, and among those that have, I don't know how many would actively vote for it, considering the other nominees. I feel that I don't know if it's even that well liked a movie. I feel like people are very mixed on the overall quality of the film. I can see it getting a few votes because from what I've seen, the VFX does look impressive, but in terms of the actual quality of the movie, I feel that some people may not be super willing to vote for it, considering what else is nominated here. And this is a weird category because all of these movies except First Man have only one nomination, and it's visual effects. And so you can't really use that as an argument against the film in these categories, because some of these movies with only one nomination, and it's here, some of those movies legitimately have a chance to win. But I don't think Christopher Robin does. I think it's good effects, but it just doesn't feel like a winner. It feels like a token nominee. Sometimes you get these movies that are like charming at best, that show up in visual effects. Like remember when Stuart Little was nominated the same year as Phantom Menace and The Matrix? Like, it had no real chance of winning. It was just a cute little nominee that has some nice effects, but or even the years Night Before Christmas or Kubo were nominated. Like, visual effects, they want to give their best visual effects winner to something a little bit more substantial, and it's not Christopher Robin. Fourth most likely to win is Solo, A Star Wars Story. So, since the new era of Star Wars films, every movie has gotten nominated, but none of them have won. And this is the movie, of all the new age Disney, Kathleen Kennedy Star Wars films, this is the one that was the most poorly received. It did not do well at the box office at all, which was shocking for a movie with the Star Wars name on it. And it wasn't really that well received by critics. There was some debate over whether or not it was even going to get this nomination, and it did, but it didn't get nominated anywhere else, didn't get any of the sound nominations. And so I can't really imagine that this is actually going to win the Oscar. I think that some people may like the movie, and some people may be like, hey, it's Star Wars, come on, relax a little bit. But I feel that even anyone in the Academy who's even a casual Star Wars fan may be disappointed by this film, or I feel that I don't know. There was some debate over whether or not this was even going to be nominated, which for Star Wars is shocking. The movie was largely a disappointment. Plus, I don't think it's really won any of the guilds. So, and from the trailers, a lot of it looks like stuff we've seen in other Star Wars movies before, like nothing terribly new. So I don't know why this movie would win when Force Awakens, Rogue One, and Last Jedi all lost. It just doesn't seem right to me. It'll get a few votes. It's a Star Wars movie. It gets a little bit of respect, but I don't think it has enough to actually pull off a win. However, the top 3 movies, you can arrange the top 3 in any order you want, because all 3 of these films have a legitimate chance to win. Third most likely to win is Avengers Infinity War. So, this could win. Some people are picking it. Some people are saying it's the safe choice. I think there's 2 or even 3 safe choices here. But Infinity War, I mean, okay, it won VES, which is good and which is promising. But I just don't know how much the Academy is going to want to award the movie. And I mean, and that sounds weird because in terms of best visual effects, though, because when you think of the best effects of the year, you're like, oh, Josh Brolin as Thanos. That's a great effect. And in the rest of the movie, there's obviously a bunch of CGI all throughout the entire film, but after a while, we've seen so many MCU movies that it just feels like they're repeating the same tricks over and over again. And no MCU movie has ever won an Oscar. And Black Panther, which was the MCU movie, not only of the year, but of a generation for many people, got the Best Picture nomination, but did not get visual effects. And so maybe the Academy just doesn't really like the MCU in this category. They certainly nominated the MCU a bunch of times, but maybe it just doesn't have enough support to win. And it could still happen, because especially if Black Panther is not going to win a whole bunch of awards on the night, they may see this as a makeup award, like, let's give Marvel something, because technically I don't believe the MCU has ever won an Oscar. And it would be good if Black Panther could win something, and I think it will win at least one Oscar in one of the tech categories. But I don't know. I feel that the MCU has done a lot of different things over the years, and they don't usually do things that are... And in terms of this particular movie, it's undeniably great effects, but some Academy voters might feel like there's not enough new material and not enough revolutionary material. So it could still win, but I'm not going to predict it. Second most likely to win is First Man. So First Man, this won Best Visual Effects, won Best Supporting Visual Effects at the VES Awards, and it wasn't competing against Avengers in that category. And the VES wins are very important because they're some of the only guilds that didn't give it to Black Panther. But what's interesting is that these are supporting visual effects. The visual effects do not drive the story like they do with the other nominees. The visual effects are in the background. And I love it when a movie can do that and not call too much attention to the CGI. And this movie also uses practical effects, and it uses them in a very realistic way. And it's a very good movie. It didn't get the Best Picture nomination, but it did get other nominations. It is the only movie in this category to get additional nominations. So that could make it a winner. It really could. But what I question is, are the effects too subtle? Because I can't remember the last time they gave visual effects to a movie that doesn't call attention to the visual effects this much. It's great that they're looking at some subtler work, because I love movies that can do it, that don't constantly call attention to the visual effects, but those are rarely the ones that win the Oscar. I feel that usually they give the Oscars to movies, because if you look at some of the past winners, like Gravity, pretty much all CGI, just with some actors added in. The Jungle Book, like all CGI with a little bit of the Avatar. Like, some of those movies are pretty much just animated movies with a little bit of people in them. Even Kubo and Nightmare Before Christmas got nominated, and because they're animation, but because they're technically stop motion, people can consider them almost live action. So they're more. I don't want to get into that whole debate, but sometimes the Academy just likes to award movies that are all CGI all the time with just enough live action to call it a live action movie and not an animated movie, which is why I think they're going to give the Oscar to Ready Player One. Yes, this is my big No Guts, No Glory prediction of the night. And the funny thing is, I've already given my argument. I felt like I had to give my argument out of the way first, so that you can understand why I'm picking this. I do not advise that you pick this. This is not a safe choice because it didn't win anything at VES. I don't think so. At least it didn't win the 2 main awards, and it hasn't won any of the major guilds. But from what I've heard, I heard in a podcast somewhere that people in the guild really do respect the movie. And it's Steven Spielberg. I mean, he's warranted a lot of respect over the years, and this is a movie that is almost CG, is entirely CG, but does a lot of cool and creative things with CG. And that's what they like to award in Best Visual Effects. This is a movie that feels like a Best Visual Effects winner. And I've heard that some people in the Academy, at least in other guilds, wish this could have been nominated for more stuff, for sound mixing, sound editing, or production design. People surprisingly seem to really like this movie, so I predict that this will be the big surprise of the night. I predict that none of us are going to see it coming, but they're going to go out of their way and reward Ready Player One. And something about this movie just makes it feel like it fits the mold of a Best Visual Effects winner more than any other nominee here tonight. So that is my argument, and that is my prediction. Okay, it's pretty crazy. I understand that, but I feel confident. And I feel like in an Oscar race, in an Oscar year where so much crazy stuff has happened, it pays to have one wild out there prediction, and this is my prediction in this category. I think it's probably best for you, if you're doing your Oscar pool, to predict something that not a lot of people are predicting, because the Oscar race is so crazy, who knows, you might just be right. So that is my prediction. Tune in tomorrow. See you later. Goodbye.